Welcome to our second Q&A video. If you haven't seen our first Q&A video, the link is in the I button at the top. And today's question is:
Hello everyone, myself Vasant Nayaka. I am a student from Vijay Vitala Institute of Technology, Bangalore. And my question is, what are loads and types of loads acting on a structure? Thank you.
So if you see the loads are nothing but the force, deformation or acceleration which are applied to the structural components. So these loads may cause stress, deformation or displacements in a structure. Coming to the types of loads. The loads are classified based on their direction as vertical loads and lateral loads. So these vertical loads consist of the loads like dead load, live load and slow load, whereas the lateral load comprises of wind load and earthquake loads. You can see the location and direction of the various loads in this diagram. So coming to the dead loads. So these dead loads are the permanent or stationary loads which are applied onto the structure throughout its lifespan. So these dead loads is primarily due to the self-weight of structural member, or maybe due to permanent partition walls, fixed permanent equipments and weight of different structural or non-structural materials. This majorly consists of the weight of roofs, beams, walls, columns, etc. The calculation and assumptions of dead load in a structural design is done based on Indian Standard Code, that is IS 875 Part 1 1987. Coming to the imposed loads, which are also called as live loads. So these live loads are either movable or moving loads without any acceleration or impact. These loads are assumed to be produced by the intended use or occupancy of the building, including weight of moving partitions or furnitures, etc. The live loads keeps on changing from time to time. These loads are to be suitably assumed by the designer. The minimum value of live loads to be assumed are given in Indian Standard, that is IS 875 Part 2 1987, and this live load depends upon the intended use of the buildings. Coming to the wind loads. The wind load is a horizontal load caused by the movement of air relative to earth. The wind load is required to be considered in structural designs, especially when the height of the building exceeds 2 times the dimensions transverse to the exposed wind surface. The calculation of wind loads depends on the factors like velocity of wind and size of the building. Using color code, the basic wind speed VB is shown in the map of India, which is given in IS 875 Part 3. The designer can pick the value of VB depending upon the locality of the building. Once the basic wind speed is chosen for a particular location, the design wind speed can be calculated. Once the design wind speed is calculated, the design wind pressure can be obtained using the procedures given in IS 875 Part 3 1987. These snow loads constitute to the vertical loads in the building, but these type of loads are considered only in the places where snow falls. The Indian Standard IS 875 Part 4 1987 deals with the snow loads on roof of the building. Coming to the earthquake loads. The earthquake force constitute to both vertical and horizontal forces on the building. The movement in vertical direction do not cause forces in superstructure to any significant extent. But the horizontal movement of the building at the time of earthquake is to be considered while designing. The response of the structure to the ground vibration is a function of the nature of the foundation, soil, size and mode of construction, and the duration and intensity of the ground motion. The Indian standard IS 1893-2014 gives the details of such calculations for structural designs. For more details about how the earthquake load is considered on a structure, do watch our previous Q&A video. Now we'll see the next question.
Hey everyone, this is Pooja from Bangalore, BE final year civil student at VVIT, which is located in Bangalore. And my question is, what is short column and a long column? Thank you in advance.
The columns are the most important vertical component of any structure, and its main aim is to transfer the loads from beams, slabs to the foundation safely. According to the slenderness ratio, the columns are divided into two major types. One is short column and the other is long column. This is also called as slender column. Now we'll see what is short column and what is long column. If the ratio between the effective length of the column to its least lateral dimension is less than or equal to 12, then such columns are termed as short columns. Similarly, if the effective length of the column to its least lateral dimension is greater than 12, then such columns are termed as long column. If we see the comparison between these two, the load carrying capacity of short column will be high when compared with the long columns of same cross-sectional area, whereas the long column has lesser load carrying capacity than the short column. The short columns are subjected to compressive stresses, whereas the long columns are subjected to buckling stresses. The failure of short column is due to their crushing, whereas the failure of the long column is due to their buckling. Buckling tendency is low in short columns, whereas crushing tendency is low in long columns. Now we'll see the next question.
Hello everyone, myself Adarsh A. Pandit. I'm from Shimoga. I'm studying in Vijay Vitala Institute of Technology, Bangalore. So my question is, what is wind load and where do we consider it? Thank you.
So if we see what is wind, wind is a air in motion related to the surface of the earth. The primary cause of wind is traced to Earth's rotation and differences in terrestrial radiation. The radiation effects are primarily responsible for convection of air upwards or downwards. The wind generally blows horizontal to the ground at high wind speeds. Since vertical components of atmospheric motion are relatively small, the term wind denotes almost exclusively the horizontal wind. The effect of wind on the structure as a whole is determined by the combined action of external and internal pressures acting upon it. In all cases, the calculated wind loads act normal to the surface to which they apply. So as we see in our previous question, this is a color coding of wind speed, which is taken from IS 875 part 3 1987. So based on this, the basic wind speed of any locality is observed. Then the design wind velocity, that is Vz, can be calculated by using the mathematical formula Vz, which is equals to Vb. Here Vb will be the basic wind speed into K1, K2, K3, where these K1, K2, K3 can be obtained from the IS 875 part 3, where K1 is called as risk coefficient, K2 is the terrain height and structure size factor, K3 is the topography factor. So here you can see the table 1 and table 2, which is showing the values of K1 and K2. Once the value of design wind velocity is calculated, then the design wind pressure, that is Pz or Pd, is obtained by the following relationship, where Pz will be the design wind pressure, which is obtained as 0.6 Vz square. After obtaining the value of design wind pressure, the wind load on individual structural elements such as roofs and walls, claddings, etc. is calculated by using the force relationship, where F is equals to CPE minus CPI multiplied with surface area into design wind pressure, where CPE and CPI are the coefficient of pressure, that is internal pressure and external pressure. This is how the wind force or wind load is applied to the structural elements. Also, if the structure is of complex type, we can use the alternate method of determining the stresses on a structure, which is nothing but testing the structural model by using wind tunnel. So basically, in this wind tunnel, the structure is modeled to a scaled model, and based on the stresses developed in this scale model, these stresses are recorded by using stress transducers against wind speed in a closed wind tunnel chamber. That's all in this today's video. I thank Vasant, Pooja and Adarsh for sending their queries. You can also contribute to these types of video by asking your questions in the form of mail or in the form of a video by sending it to our mail ID, that is cubespace2018@gmail.com. Thank you.